Do I got to clap? And we're back. Yes, it has been quite the delay. I agree. I know I promised we were going to get back on track with this thing. And then, like most business owners know, shit side rails you constantly. So we've been side railed with a couple things here. Nothing really big, but things that did require a little more focus. My focused attention anyway. It kind of pulls me away from the podcast, which to me is the fun stuff, you know, and sometimes you got to put the fun stuff on the shelf and pay attention to the nitty gritty and stay the course, which is kind of really what this podcast is going to be about today. It's just, staying on track. So I'm gonna step out for a second, explain, you know, what's going on. I know a lot of you, any of you devoted guys that are kind of following some of this shit, you saw our Instagram post where we have dropped our CrossFit affiliation. I feel like that I was going to use this podcast platform to explain that. I didn't really want to put it into texts and quotes and make a big deal out of it. Well, we did take one picture and kind of let everyone know that, you know, it's over. I'll back into that a little bit and explain that. I'm not going to take up the whole podcast for that, but it'll give you an idea of, like, you know, what kind of time constraint that kind of shit puts on you. So, you know, we've been an affiliate for 13 some odd years with CrossFit, and, you know, the first 10 years they were fun. You know, I'd say the first 8 years were a blast. I felt like we had a lot of engagement both ways. There was a lot of communication back and forth. And then it just started to slip. And it's just, you know, right around 2020 with the whole George Floyd thing, that's when shit got a little sideways. I watched CrossFit and CrossFit supporters bully Greg Glassman out of the business. I watched them bully CrossFit into positions that I didn't really appreciate. And I feel like CrossFit kind of started leaning more towards a woke style culture, and I feel like that hasn't changed. I feel like every day they take more steps in that direction. That said, you know, I wasn't a fan of it then, so I immediately at that point, you know, while people were talking about doing dropping their affiliate back when the Floydgate happened, I think that's what Glassman called it. Glassman called it Floydgate, and then all the followers, the woke CrossFitters out there decided, you know, hey, I'm going to drop my affiliate if you don't get rid of Greg Glassman. I'm going to drop my affiliate if you don't do something with Greg talking this bullshit, right? So for me, I was like, I don't appreciate bullies in any scheme. I didn't like it at all. And then Greg just stepped down and things just got fucking weird, went sideways. And yeah, they corrected. And of course, all those big mouths, nobody de-affiliated. But me, you know, it was a real eye-opener to me to watch them kowtow to a weak majority of people that were just, I don't know, they were never really CrossFit's demographic anyway. Why the fuck they made that change back then, I don't know. But anyway, beyond that, I watched it just continue to devolve. You know, I knew that CrossFit was going to step up and clean up that mess, and they did. They got a handle back on it. They brought Castro back, and they were doing some pretty cool shit there for a while. But it just never really sat well with me. And then recently they went back on some deals. You know, they went back on the affiliate fees. You know, they've told guys that have been in the business for 20-something years, you know, Glassman did a handshake agreement, actually a contractual agreement, that your affiliate fee, your yearly affiliate fee wouldn't change ever if you signed on with CrossFit. And, you know, guys were moving forward on that agreement, had some of the oldest and best gyms in the country, probably the world, you know, that were paying relatively cheap affiliate fees, which I feel like was fair. That was the deal. That was what they made. That's why they signed up. We did the same, you know, 13 years ago. And then all of a sudden with this new regime coming in, they jack up the rates. Well, for me, you know, jacking up the rates on moving forward makes sense. You know, I'll do that here at the gym. You know, if I change my rates, I don't make my old folks, my legacy guys, pay the newer rates. I don't. And it's a pretty well-known fact. It's communicated pretty loudly here at the gym. If you hold on and you stay here and you show loyalty, I'll show you loyalty back, and I won't change your rates. However, CrossFit didn't honor that with their members, their affiliates, their older legacy guys, and forced them to actually have to start paying higher rates too. So for me, that was another strike in the bucket. I was like, this is getting fucking stupid. Then they jacked up, you know, level 1, 2, and 3 certification prices, had some more different requirements for these types of things. And then I started running into the products of those, and I just wasn't impressed anymore. So it just got to the point where I was just over it. We had already begun rebranding after Floydgate, and so it wasn't tough for us to drop the affiliate. We've already Iron Legion stands on its own 2 feet anyway. I think this was something that we just really needed to do a long time ago. Why I'm spending so much time on this podcast explaining it is because probably only 1 or 2 of you really give a fuck. But just thought I'd kind of drop it out there. And then the final nail in the coffin was the Coca-Cola thing, man. I always thought it was really cool when little old school CrossFit fitness company was taking on a fucking giant like Coca-Cola and trying to bring them to their fucking knees, like David versus Goliath style shit, over poisoning Americans. And I always thought that was such a cool fucking fight that they decided to take on their own, and that was something I backed up 100%, and I loved it. And, and after all this shit happened, and they get rid of Glassman, and they go more woke, and they get all this shit going on in their new fucking arrangement, who do they bring on to support the CrossFit Games? No one other than Coca-Cola through their Monster Energy contract. And it's just fucking disgusting. It's just some two-faced shit that I just can't stand. So, that's some stuff that, I believe in authenticity. I don't believe in selling out. I especially now, you vote with your dollars, you vote with your voice, you vote with your actions. And for me to spend another dollar towards that kind of shit was really just making me sick. So that's why they're gone. But that's been taking a lot of time for us to go back, reverse out a bunch of CrossFit names from our shit and go through some documentation and some website stuff. And, it's pretty serious shit. And I don't mind doing it. I kind of appreciated CrossFit responding to me saying, hey, we still have a few of these things we need you to remove. My team got all up in arms about, fuck them. I'm like, no, not fuck them. I completely agree. I want to get rid of that stink too. I don't want any of that on my stuff. So thank you for helping me identify what I needed to eliminate. We're getting it all gone. And, our gym is better for it now. So we're actually a lot cleaner, a lot leaner moving forward. And I'm super pumped about the future right now without that. So we are now what we've always been, a strength and conditioning gym. We focus on strongman, powerlifting, functional movement, Olympic weightlifting. We have jiu-jitsu and combatives, all that type of stuff. Everything that I fucking love that has to do with strength culture is what Iron Legion has become. And then we're just pushed out the what I feel like is an aging methodology anyway. It's always been around, cross training and strength and conditioning and HIIT training. That shit ain't new. It's just a fucking marketing scheme. So we kicked that to the curb, and now we're going to be better for it. That said, I kind of touched on authenticity a little bit. So now I'm going to move into the actual podcast itself. So the podcast itself, what I wanted to talk about today was this conversation I had with this kid. And I guess he wasn't really a kid. It was at a Wawa gas station, and it happened about a week ago, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head, and I really just wanted to talk about it. I look different. I know a lot of you guys are probably listening to it in an audio way, but I don't really fit the standard mold of a civilized white male, I suppose. I am a little bit different looking, and I always have been. Since I was younger, all the way up till now, I've always had a unique style. I've always got a different way of walking, talking, acting, and looking. And I feel like a lot of it is confidence-based stuff, and it's all based on having strength routines and fitness routines throughout my life that have really changed my mindset. So I carry myself a different way, so I typically stand out, and I know that. And I actually make concessions sometimes when I walk into a public place. I'll pull a hat down a little lower, or I'll try not to make eye contact with people because I just know it's just not really worth it to get into some of the conversations and the things that I don't want to fucking deal with these people out there in the regular world that aren't really my people. But here I was in a gas station. I've heard this kind of shit a lot, but the kid said it in a way that it rubbed me different. I'll walk through a grocery store sometimes and they're like, man, do you work out? And I'm like, nah, man, I ain't never worked out a day in my life. And they're like, really? What's your secret? And you're like, fuck, this motherfucker's stupid. Anyway, I hear that more often than not, and that's usually my response. But the way he said it was, I just bought a ham and cheese burrito from Wawa. And if you have not had the ham and egg cheese burrito from Wawa, it is good. I'm not a big fan of Wawa and their policies and their whole fucking background, but when you're in a hurry and you need an egg and cheese burrito, go in there and get one of those. Isabel turned me on to that shit, and it's fucking good as fuck. So I was paying for it, and this kid, he lets me pay for everything, and I could tell he wanted to say something, and then right at the last minute, right as I'm turning around, he's like, hey, excuse me, sir, can I just ask you something? And I was like, yeah, man, sure, what's up? And, because I'm actually a pretty fucking nice guy. So when you ask me a question, I'll melt that persona that I've got to get you to leave me the fuck alone. And I'll smile and I brighten up my eyes, and I'm a pretty fucking welcoming cat. So the dude, all of a sudden now he's like, oh, I got my entrance. So he's like, dude, you look like you're pretty well put together. Like you're pretty built. He goes, would you mind, could you tell me your secret? And I just sat there for a second. I looked at him, and in that second, gauged who I was talking to. And he is everyone that you would think of that you see in civilization. Everyone that you see at the grocery store, at the bar, in the street. This is an out-of-shape male. This is a guy that's never lifted weights in his life. He's in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. He's working at Wawa. He hasn't really done anything with his life. He's a nice enough guy. He's personable. I could probably count him as a friend in some sense. He's a decent person. I'm not knocking the guy, but he's never done anything like most Americans anymore. They don't fucking do anything. So I just looked him dead in the eye, and I was like, it's discipline and commitment. And his whole demeanor shifted. Because, and I know why it shifted. It shifted to, it was really? That's the fucking response you're going to give me? And I know what he meant, but I could see it in his face. I could see it in his body language. But because these people are so raised in this consumer society, it has to be a product, right? It has to be a product that creates that. It has to be some type of juice cleanse. It has to be a fitness routine. It has to be a specific this or a specific that for a time allotted piece. It has to be a product that fits into a fucking square that creates that image that you have right there. And because I wasn't willing to sit there and take him through 49 years of my fucking life, and I summed it up to commitment and discipline, it disappointed the kid. Because I didn't look at him and say, yeah, I do this juice cleanse, man, and it's fucking great, and I use Herbalife, and, I do this little 6-week fucking program, and I lost 70 fucking pounds, bro, and I'm jacked as fuck. I'm not that guy, and I'm not going to sit here and fucking lie to you either. Everything about what I do is brand authenticity, right? I mean, I believe that what I say, I need to stand behind what I say. Having this kid look at me that way, I felt bad for him, and I really wanted to reach and grab him, like, come to the gym, and I can set you on the fucking path. But I knew that wasn't what he wanted. He wanted the pill. He wanted the product. He wanted to hear me say, take this dimetized protein, and that's what's going to get you jacked. Or take this particular pill, that's what's going to get you jacked. Make sure you take your creatine, that's what's going to get you jacked. And it's such fucking bullshit, guys. What it literally comes down to is deciding at some point in your life that you're fucking done. And there's no reason that a kid at 28 years old, at his age, can't say, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done being weak. And every once in a while, now, he's surrounded by, don't get me wrong, he's surrounded by thousands of fucking weak people. But when one fucking strong person walks through that gas station where he works, they stand out. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. But it's not very often. And when he does see them, it stands out, and something clicks inside him that he's not doing something. Something clicks inside him that he's not being the fucking man that he should be. All he's doing is settling to be fucking less. And he is literally settling to be less. He's settling to be comfortable. He's settling to fit into a society that, frankly, in my opinion, is fucking weak, disgusting, degraded, and really just needs a fucking kick in the ass. So when he sees somebody like me or somebody that looks like me, that he wants to reach out. He wants that, right? He wants to know, how do you get there? But man, the dude's just not willing to put in the work. Because if he's got to 28, 30 years old, he got there on his own choices. He chose to be that. Doesn't mean he can't choose today to make that switch. Doesn't mean he can't say, hey man, where's the gym? Where can I go where you work out? Where is that? I mean, it's literally all over my fucking body. My t-shirts typically, my trucks, everything I have shows you exactly where I'm at. You meet me at the fucking gym and we can start. And that said, it doesn't mean that my program is the only one that works. It's commitment and discipline over time. It's 30 some odd years of work that I've put into who I am today. It hasn't always been with Iron Legion. I've done plenty of training in a lot of different places, all this type of shit. He could go sign up at Orange Theory. He could sign up at the YMCA. He could sign up at a fucking Globo shit gym somewhere. But as long as he stayed dedicated and committed and was patient with himself and took the time and the steps that it takes to stay on course and give it a fucking year, not a week, not 6 weeks, give it a fucking year or more to get those results, he would be surprised in what he could actually do. But there's no pill. There's no quick answer for this. There's a long-term commitment. It's a long-term goal that starts. First step would be walking into a gym, deciding, or really your first step is just deciding. You don't even have to go to a fucking gym. These days with online programming and everything that's out there, you could literally just pick a fucking running course. Do it online and do it for free. There's so many free workout templates, free running templates, free different things that are out there that can set you on the path, but none of it will fucking work. None of it will work if you don't do it. If you don't do it religiously, with discipline and commitment, every other day or every day, or come up with a fucking plan and stick to it. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. At the end of the day, it is not that hard. You just got to shut out the fucking noise and not want to be like everybody else. I never wanted to be like everybody else. I've always wanted to be me. And maybe this all sounds a little egotistical, but I don't really give a fuck because maybe I am egotistical. But it has driven me to the point where I have a certain look that I want. I have the family and the situation and the family and the gym and the lifestyle that I want. I have all of those things just because I've decided I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to have a job like everybody else. I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to do the shit that most of the people do. I like doing hard shit. I am really, really excited and turned on by doing shit that makes me uncomfortable. And for some fucking reason, I work really good under pressure. So could I help this kid along? Abso-fucking-lutely. But can I tell that he wanted it? I could tell he didn't want it. I could tell that all he wanted was a shortcut and a fix. I guess that story I just fucking really needed to get that out there, guys, because, like, I see it a lot here in the gym. You know, I had a woman the other day. She's been here for, I don't know, let's say 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. And she's frustrated. You know, she's getting to a point where she was feeling good for the first couple of weeks, but the fun is starting to wear off, right? So the fun's starting to wear off, and now the work part of it's starting to set in. The commitment and the discipline part of it's starting to set in. That part that, like, the adult shit is starting to set in. The fun little kiddie stuff is out the window. The flash and the bang and the whole, like, this is an exciting workout, that's gone. And now she's starting to look around and notice how much fitter a lot of people are. And she's upset. You know, when am I ever going to get to that? I'm like, that particular person over there has been here for 4 fucking years. That person over there, 6 years. This one, 2 years. This woman over here next to you that's doing pretty well, but still kind of doing your weights, 6 months. So, like, don't rush. This isn't something that we're going to get done. Don't look at it like there's an end. Look at it like you've decided to make a change for your life, for your entire fucking life. And that's going to change your journey. That's going to change your perspective. You're going to stop looking at that short-term goal and deciding that this is going to take a fucking while. I'm in it for the long haul, but I need to stay dedicated, right? And I told her, you know, while that girl looks banging at 4 years into this jam, she's killing all the RX workouts, she's competing at different stuff that she does. That girl also doesn't fucking miss. She might take 2 days off a week. She's on top of her nutrition. She sleeps well. She takes care of herself. She does not let anything get in the way of her training. She puts her training first and foremost. Doesn't necessarily, first and foremost does not mean first thing in the morning. But when she wakes up, she knows at some point during the day, she's going to train, and she decides at that moment when she wakes up, it's at 4 p.m. Nothing will fucking change that for her. She will be here at 4 o'clock and she will do that workout. And I have a lot of people like that. But it takes that commitment. It takes that, like, you know, sometimes it's fuck the kids. Sometimes it's like fuck my mom, fuck all these different things. I don't even want to hear it. I have to do this first. Fuck my husband, fuck my wife, fuck my job. Whatever it is, right? You got sometimes overtime can't do it today. I have got to get this done. But what ends up happening when you do that? You become a better person for it. You're putting time into yourself so you can put your time back into your mom, your kids, your job, your stuff, right? And you're going to feel better for it. You're not letting those things drive you. You're becoming a better person that you can provide more to them. So taking care of number one, first and foremost, should always be the focus. But making those commitments, guys. So she's on board. I feel like she's going to be fine. You know, these are the conversations that I have on the daily. These are just ones that are just popping up recently. I have them a lot. But staying on course, guys. It's a long trip. It's not something that's, you're not, I think I swallowed that a long time ago. Like, I'm never done. You're never going to be done. You know, I might be training for a competition and I go to a competition, it's like I'm done, but the 1 hour from the podium, I'm already planning the next competition. 1 hour from the podium, I'm already planning my deload and my training and the way I'm going to get back into the gym and where am I going next. Like, these things don't change. Even if I'm not competing, it's after every particular benchmark that I check out, I'm like, okay, that went like this. Now I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do it like this. These things keep me engaged. How am I approaching my day-to-day? How do my workouts help with that? And then I see success in my day-to-day because of the way that I train, and that just gives me more fuel to get me to the gym even more often. So I'm hoping these things keep you guys fired up, man. I had to get back on the horse. I really didn't have a plan on what I wanted to talk about today. I did want to explain to you guys, you know, what our delay was. You know, I gave you one instance. We had a couple of other nasty little hits, but they're all kind of fixed up. So we're hoping to get back on track with some normal, good scheduled podcasts. Right? Let's hope that happens. And yeah, I think we'll just leave it at that, guys. So if you're going to be asking somebody, you know, what's the secret to looking like that, be ready for that kind of response. A guy who tells you that knows what the fuck he's talking about. He knows you ain't going to get it done in a minute. And the first person that tells you take a Herbalife shake, run away from that motherfucker, because that ain't the way. So peace out, guys. Hope to see you guys again here in about 2 weeks. And keep training hard. And if you're here in Ocala, I hope to see you in the gym pretty soon.